Festuca glauca fescue is one that's growing on a lot of projects. It does well. This particular one is actually a photo of what's on this roof, and it's Elijah blue. The designer of this, we were concerned about, well, what do we do if it goes to seed? And then it starts spreading. Here we have this question about, we've got all this sedum up here, and what if we have all this grass to grow in the area where it was not planted? What do we do then? Do we pull it, and is it a weed because we didn't plant it there? Well, so the designer said, well, this is Elijah blue, and the seeds are sterile, so it's not going to, they're not going to germinate. So I'm chuckling because Dave and I and others have been up on this roof, and we have probably scores of these little guys, if not maybe 100 of these little guys coming up throughout the roof, and they're in with the sedum. So what would you do? Would it, and we're going to talk about weeds and things later, but is it a weed, or should we let it go? Should we let it adapt and let the sedum, can the sedum overtake it? Can it overtake the sedum? What do we do?
Tom?
And, yeah.
Question with grasses on roofs. I talked to Tufels Landscape Company, and they had a roof, I guess, in downtown Portland where the grass actually had built up thatch and had to be removed. So I think, because I get a lot of people calling me at the nursery.
Is that an Ecoroof, or is that a roof with grass on it that's being maintained, like the market building over here?
You know, I need to find out by that. But a question to you is, people call and ask about grasses on eco-roofs, and I think 6-inch soil is probably adequate, but my concern is 4 inches and 3 inches of soil, and whether thatch would be a buildup. Have you seen any projects where the grass got so dense and started to choke itself out, or whether you were just seeing water not be able to penetrate the grass mat?
No.
No? Okay.
And again, our focus is not on an eco-roof that is, well, let me put it this way. We are trying to look for the eco-roofs that are the most self-sustaining. So grass in 4 inches of soil, to my knowledge, is likely not to be able to sustain itself without irrigation to help you keep it going. So for instance, we are irrigating this roof, and if we reach a point where we can diminish the irrigation sufficiently to keep the sedums healthy, is that blue fescue going to survive that we've got up there? And so we're going to kind of keep an eye on that. So in terms of the particulars of what you're talking about, I don't know. But yeah, grass is not in our report. I'm trying to focus on the report, so we don't know enough about grass to be able to say what you should do. So this is another bulb, Muscari. This is just by accident. And a lot of these bulbs that we found growing were because on my garage that I planted in 1996, I just used the soil from my yard and I just dug it and I threw it up on the roof. And I forgot to get a permit, so, but I did upgrade the structure. Sometime, Peter, I'll have to have you come over, somebody, and just kind of take a look and make sure that it's okay. Anyway, so yeah, so don't do like me. You know, I'm one of those guys, I'm kind of a nerd, if you haven't noticed, and I get an idea and I'm just kind of going, and it's like, oh, it wasn't until 3 years later I was giving a presentation at a conference and somebody said, did you get a permit? And I thought, oh my gosh, no, I didn't even think of that. So, and I'm being honest, I didn't. But anyway, so if you're like that, anyway. So this comes up every year, and it does the same as the camas bulb. It comes up, and then it just drops off and everything. It's beautiful in that time of year. And then licorice fern, a number of other ferns we have found on eco-roofs. We actually planted them on the Buckman building, and they have survived, and it's in a shady spot. Yeah.
I have Muscari at home. It started coming up about 3 weeks ago. Have you tried intermixing your summer dormant sedums with your winter, or your summer dormant bulbs with your winter dormant sedums?
Not by design, but that's a good idea. I think it is, yeah. I think mixing the different types of plants, bulbs and sedums and other succulents, and perhaps even some other types of, especially native plants, to see what might be. I mean, you know, we probably have I'm just guessing, hundreds of native plants that are not in cultivation in the nursery industry. Maybe there are some other native nurseries that have quite a few. So we need to find out what are the plants that are really good native plants for these roofs, because we don't have to stick with necessarily just sedums once we find out, because these plants have spent thousands of years at least adapting to this particular way of life for them. So anyway.